Freedom, freedom, freedom over fame. Freedom over cycle stays the same.
Welcome in, everybody, to today's episode of How to Ride a Roller Coaster. Today I'm joined by Matty Schirle, the founder and CEO of Skinkick. What's happening, man?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here, breathing, and thank you for inviting me. Looking forward to the sharing some information with you.
Heck yeah. So before we even dive into Skinkick and where we are now, tell me a little bit about more of your background.
Yeah, so, I grew up in Detroit area, and I'm a one of 7 kids. Very interesting that I was an entrepreneur from day one. I made my mother drive me around with my lawnmower starting in probably 5th grade. By the time I was I think it was 8th grade, I had $3,500 in the bank. So, which today I think you could probably multiply by 5.
Wow. Yeah.
So, what is that? $18,000 as an 8th grader. But anyhow,
it's not a bad deal as an 8th grader. Yeah, I would have gotten into all kinds of trouble.
Right. And I proceeded. I had a business in high school, which was landscaping. Every time it snowed, I made $733, and then every time during the summer, I had a 5-foot cut mower. I paid for college, 50% of my college, and so got a chemical engineering degree. I don't know how that happened, but just focused and decided that the world's going to be technical, so I need to figure it out. Whereas I was really a business guy all the time, but then I became a chemical engineer. And worked in making computer chips, which is called semiconductor processing. And it's very interesting because as I build this company now, I reflect back and every single piece of the story is fitting perfectly into this company that we built. I say we because I was a corporate guy, so we means the polite way to say, right. You don't ever say I.
Right. So what is it about that the semiconductor company that really helps you get to now? I mean, what are those things that are kind of holdovers that have really kind of influenced Skinkick?
So it turns out, so I worked my way into the semiconductor, and then I became a corporate executive, worked my way up in a Japanese company. And I had to recreate myself because I got a corporate divorce. Divorce happens in real life. It also happens in corporate life. So I had to recreate myself. So I went down and hired a PhD scientist who studied skin cells, Dr. Bill Province at UT Southwest Med Center. And what we did is created skincare from scratch. And I'll answer your question as I go through it. But we determined how to keep a skin cell healthy, which traditional skincare is designed where somebody Googles ingredients. Somebody died from cancer and says, oh, it's in the hair, it's in the skincare. So they Google ingredients. Oh, green tea's the hot ingredient. Let's stuff that in there. Oh, charcoal's hot. Let's stuff that in there. And they really don't understand the connection between the ingredient and the skin cell, where we did it 100% different. We're saying, like, what vitamins, nutrients, and omegas does that skin cell need to be healthy? Okay. With that list of vitamin, nutrients, and omegas, we created a specification so that any product is designed to a spec. The car has to go this fast, turn this fast, stop this fast. The radio needs to sound like this, whatever it may be. We did the same for a skin cell, so it has to have those vitamin, nutrients, omegas. With that, we searched the world for what vitamins, nutrients, omega, which we call skin vino, by the way. So we're looking for vino. So you may sound like a fine red wine from Italy, but all of our vino, skin vino, comes from the Amazon rainforest, chock full of these ingredients. So the ingredients deliver the vino. Okay. Wow. So with that, you create then a formula, which ours are now, we own the Naturally Smart words. So I actually have a trademark on Naturally Smart. So the formulas can clear, renew, and protect at the same time, things that other companies cannot do. But the very, very interesting thing is when we hit the acne market, when we developed Skinkick, it was all about the cell, the skin cell. Well, it turns out in acne, it's all about the skin pore, the pore itself. and the pore gets plugged, and that causes the problem. What we realize now, we didn't start off this way, but then we leveraged it once I figured it out. But in semiconductor manufacturing, you build a trench, and a trench, the features of a trench, the dimensions are very similar than compared to a skin pore. It's almost identical. So a pore goes down, it's got a big trench, and the semiconductor's the memory chip is the same way. So the problem in semiconductor manufacturing is the trench gets plugged. The problem in skincare is the skin pore gets plugged. So all that technical know-how, thin film dynamics, particle dynamics, hydrophobic, hydrophilic, all those properties, we had the know-how when we got into skincare. So our company, basically Skinkick, is the combination of chemical engineering from super high-tech manufacturing, process engineering in the semiconductor field, ported over with a PhD scientist who knows skin cells. And then we both love natural. And we have a disdain. I try not to say the word hate, but we just are appalled. I've seen over and over how chemicals have dried out skin, impacted women's bodies. I'm sure it impacts men's bodies, impacted the baby being, during gestation. Just unbelievable chemicals. So that we combine those three: chemical engineering, PhD scientist, really skin cell scientist, and a love of nature. And here we are.
So, I mean, what has the reaction been like when you come to the market with something that really treats the root cause, as opposed to, just overloading yourself with chemicals in order to try to fix something as opposed to repair it?
So the reception is extremely positive. And it turns out, there's a lot of myths in the world of skincare and in beauty. And sorry to say it, but there's a lot of marketing that goes on. And
Sure.
We're here to bring transparency to a lot of those myths. For instance, I can say in acne or blemish, we don't use acids. That's the whole market is geared towards, which AHA are you using, right? In anti-aging, everybody says the gold standard is retinol. Well, if that's so gold, why can you not use that chemical when you're pregnant? The reason is there's a finite percentage your baby will be deformed if you're using retinol during pregnancy. Now, there's something called Accutane, which is the most strongest retinol in the retinol family. You have to be on birth control to get a subscription of that and a prescription of that in Texas, and I'm sure other states are similar. So, can you imagine people putting this stuff on their face and you're not going to die from it, but if you're pregnant, it's an issue. So it tells you it's bad for your body.
Tell me about the origination point for Skinkick, because even though there are parallels with how they work and how it goes about, and just the treatment process,
right?
They're still two very different industries. So tell me about the very first time, even maybe before you knew of the name Skinkick, but where did that idea come from?
So I was doing anti-aging with Dr. Bill, and I was pressing him, hey, we need to have a portfolio. The final product in a portfolio is an acne product. So he is really the brilliance to come up with the concoction, if you will. So he came up with a concoction for blemish or acne, and I held a focus group with a holistic doctor. And there were two groups, about 20 people each, and they're all between the ages of 15 to 21. And the very first young woman, she didn't want to be in that focus group, but I'll tell you what, because of her, I imagine because of her image. And she came back in 30 days, and boy, she was standing ready to tell her story, and she just busted out, and she stands up, and she pulls her hair back behind her hair behind her ear. She goes, "Do you see my skin?" She goes, "I am glowing. I have never had so much confidence." And I went down, tried out for the school play, and I won the lead role. Literally, David, I'm not kidding you. People are tearing up. I actually had a tear.
Wow.
But it was amazing. And I'm like, I have to pivot. This is it. And I tell you what, I've told this story a million times and my hair still stands up every single time because it was so compelling. And she goes, you need to call this self-esteem in a bottle. Well, we didn't have a company at that time, but the next day I formed a group with millennials and their moms, and every single brand element came from that group virtually. So if you're going to design a product for millennials and their moms, which in acne, the mothers are making the decision because they do not want their child to experience the grief, the anxiety that they experienced. So they'll do anything to keep their child from having to experience that grief. So today we call it Skinkick. They said, came up with all these names. They said, we want to go with Skinkick. And I said, are you kidding me? It sounds like a soccer team. And I came back the next day and I said to myself, you know what? The reason you surrounded yourself with millennials and their moms was so that they would guide you. So I finally said, keep my mouth shut, which is hard for entrepreneurs to do, especially in fifth grade. So I kept my mouth shut and we named it Skinkick and we haven't looked back. And it's also often called self-esteem in a bottle.
And then so after that focus group, after you guys were on the Skinkick train, everything's moving forward. I mean, I know that you guys are in several stores now, such as Target, Ulta, Macy's, places like that. What was that like? I mean, what's the process for taking something like that, trying to get into a highly competitive market like skincare, and then getting it in with, some of these top distributors?
Yeah, so we were originally a D2C first, so digital first strategy. And we were proceeding along that, but Target showed up and invited us to a beauty accelerator called Target Takeoff. And I was really, uncomfortable about retail. But first of all, I don't know anything about retail. I'm a semiconductor guy. I was a corporate executive. So I took it as, wow, great opportunity. Let's learn. Doesn't mean we have to do business with them. But we spent 5 weeks with them in this accelerator called Target Takeoff. And oh boy, we met 17 executives. It was one of the greatest experiences I've had in life. And I learned about retail. And out of it, I think 10 brands were in there with us. We're one of 10 brands. Over 400 applied. We're the only ones invited, is what they told us, because there's a gap on the shelf for a natural brand. So it was one of the best experiences we got on shelf there, for sure. So out of those 10, 3 were selected to go on shelf. And we went into, I think, 292 shelves.
Was that also the getting into Target, going through that entire kind of accelerator with Target, where you learned all about, being in stores and the consumer side of things? Was that also the springboard for places like Ulta and Macy's? Like, was it a domino effect, or were they their own different hurdles to cross? Even though you're in one, it's not quite as easy to get into another. No,
I think they were all independent of each other, quite frankly. And we didn't tout one to get the other. Macy's came. Okay. Macy's is online. Most everything now, we're all online. So Target came. We shipped, and COVID started immediately right after we shipped. And then literally with 6 weeks of data, Target called and said they're going to remove us from shelf. And I don't know what that was all about. 4 of the 6 weeks had COVID. And so, they're restricting the access to the stores. But anyhow, we don't look back. We believe we're still in Target.com. And so when things circle back, they're going to be begging, right? Every store will be begging for us.
Sure. And I noticed here recently, I think it was even at the beginning of this month, so that would be August of 22 as we're shooting this. You guys were on Good Morning Texas on WFAA here in Dallas. So how did that whole piece come up? Was that something where they organically found you guys, or, because media spots are hard to get, and especially when it comes to local news in a city the size of Dallas, where there are a lot of people trying to pitch for those spots?
We had a medical doctor, Dr. Brooke, and she was part of the team that was invited to be on, I think, 2 years ago. And so recently they contacted us again and said, are you interested in supporting? And we're like, yeah, we'd love to be on there and tell our updated story. And really enjoyed it. There are 2 women that spoke. Both of them, I think one was 20, one's 22 now. And I said, look, you have 30 seconds to tell your story. And boy, oh boy, their stories were so compelling. One woman, Logan's, didn't use the word "you changed my life." She said, "Skinkick transformed my life." So I'm literally taking her messaging, and that's what we do. We transform lives. So we really believe, David, we really believe that with a clear image, clear skin gives you confidence. Confidence leads to better decisions. Better decisions lead to a better world, one with harmony, more love, less hate. And that's what Skinkick's all about.
I watched that video, I want to say 2 days ago, the WFAA video. And like you said, even though it was only 30 seconds, I mean, it was just so powerful because you could tell how genuine it was, how much it was just a complete game changer for her overall, state of mind and self-esteem. I mean, it just radiated through. So, I mean, like I said, it sounds like it's an amazing product, and I'm just so happy for you. I'm a little bit older. My kids are 25 and 29 now. So I can do this. I can work, literally I worked 4 years, 24/7. It wasn't 24, it was probably 18/7. But I had the ability to do that because the kids are out of the house. It's my dog and myself. But after that young girl said I changed her life, that you need to call it self-esteem in a bottle, I literally get that multiple times a week, and that's what I live for. We can literally make an impact on this world. And I don't know about you, but my worst decisions in life come when I'm in a lull. I'm feeling crummy, and I just make, not the best decisions. So if we can bump everybody's self-esteem up by just a tad, you can imagine we can, do our part to make the world a better place. And that's what's beautifully
all about.
Said. Beautifully said. And so I saw this thing on Instagram last week, and it says these are the 7 things that no one tells you about starting a business. Number 1 is it's all about who you know. Number 2, you're gonna want to quit. Number 3, it's nonstop. Number 4, everybody's gonna have an opinion. Number 5, you'll have to ask for money. Number 6, you can't double dip for customers. And number 7, you'll need to reinvest. And it feels like all 7 of those become real big things or real focus points at some point along the way. And I probably have to agree that, I don't know that everybody tells you that it's all about who you know when you first start out in business. A lot of times it feels like you're on your own, or you're looking for customers outside of your already created network. So I think that a lot of these things you kind of figure out as you go. There's not any hard and fast rule of, hey, take these 7 things and you'll have success, or, knock these things out. So were any of these 7, or is there something else that was maybe one thing that nobody told you about starting a business that you wish they would have?
Boy, I think all of it. I had started multiple businesses when I was a corporate executive. So that's, I was not the entrepreneur, but the intrapreneur. So I would start businesses and they were $300 million on day one. And so I did have a good experience and understanding. But I got to say, the one that really caught me hard in starting in skincare, remember, I was a corporate executive doing semiconductor work. I mean, that's the highest technology in the world from a manufacturing standpoint. I'm in skincare. I'm porting all that know-how over, and I create this brand that, quite frankly, the competition's following us very, very closely, very aware of that. But I'm in this market called skincare, called beauty. I don't know anybody. It's probably the number one handicap I have is that, I don't have the network. I don't know anybody. And it really, really makes a difference to open doors, So if I had stayed in semiconductor, I had, those 20 plus years of a Rolodex that I could call people up. But in beauty, it was really limited. And then it can, any one mention of you really taints who you are instead of really who you are, So it's been a handicap. But I'm a true believer that people can market stuff that is not the best in the world. Let's say, you can market something if you have enough money, but Skinkick really works. And so this product is going to come to market regardless of all of those 7 things. Yeah. Every day I wake up and I say, do I quit or do I not? So literally every single day I look for a signal, and it's like, what is the direction? And quite frankly, now it's to the point where the testimonies are coming. So that's validation. Never give up. Never give up.
Yeah.
Resilience.
Yeah. I think you nailed that one right on the head. I think everybody can relate to that at some point or another, where it's always that stress of, do I keep going? Do I pursue something else? Do I pivot? What are those signals that I'm getting that is showing that this is, validation or market validation? And so the last thing I'll ask you is, so you just mentioned one of the big struggles was trying to get into a new network. If it had been semiconductors, you have a big network because you've been in that world so long. So switching over. So let's say that there's somebody out there that wants to start something new, and it's going to be similar. It's going to be in a completely different industry where maybe they don't have any inroads. They don't know anybody. Their LinkedIn is full of all of the people that they know and have done business with for years in their current state. What would you say to those people when it comes to building a network in a different vertical? How do you find those people? How do you start to make those connections?
The key word is mentor. So first of all, when you form your company, you need something called a board of advisors. There is nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing more important than surrounding yourself with people that can fill your gaps. So know your gap. If you're not a marketing person, that's fine. First of all, nobody can do everything. There's nobody that has 360-degree talent. But so you identify your gaps, and the people you pull into that board of advisors needs to fill your gaps. They need to complement your weaknesses. I can't say anything more important than getting the right people around you. Surround yourself with winners. So my number one question is, have you been in the end zone? Did you win the Super Bowl? Did you win the World Series? Right? These are the questions I'm asking those board of advisors. Show me proof that you're the winner, because you want to surround yourself with winners, people that have been there and done it. Can't say it anything louder than that.
That's really good. Well, Matty, this has been fantastic. Please, I want to make sure that everybody knows how to follow Skinkick. We'll definitely put all of that in the description so that people can follow you on Facebook, Instagram, make sure that they get to your website, all of those things. Is there anything else, any other places that we need to make sure to follow you guys?
No, the key word is Skinkick, so skinkick.com. And every one of our social media is Skinkick. So the key to know is, Skinkick was designed for everybody. And it means all ages, all genders, all skin tones, all skin types. And it's hard to believe, but it's true, and it works for everybody. So we can do acne without the harsh acids like benzoyl peroxide or salicylic acid. And we can do anti-aging without retinol. And we do it naturally, 99% natural. And we can do those two at the same time. So literally, I have customers are from 8 to 88. And they just, very good experiences. So, give it a shot. Find us on skinkick.com. And the most important thing is I'm very, very available. So you can find me on that website, and you can hunt me down, and we can have a conversation, and I can guide you personally. And I do it all the time, because I just want people to feel good in their skin. You feel good in your skin, right? It just gives you that mojo.
That's it.
All right.
Well, thank you so much. This has been fantastic, Matty. I really appreciate your time, and all the best of luck in the future with everything Skinkick.
Thank you, David. Have a wonderful day.